Welcome to our deep dive into the work of Seth Godin.
Always love a good Godin deep dive.
Me too. We've got some audio clips of him today,
Oh, cool.
and we're going to try and figure out what it really takes to become one of his linchpins,
That's a good one.
right?
It's such an interesting concept.
Yeah, that indispensable person who just makes things happen.
Makes things happen. Yeah.
And one of the things that he talked about is this idea of the lizard brain
Oh, yeah.
and how that kind of becomes the source of resistance that keeps us from doing our best work.
That voice in your head that tells you to play it safe and stick to the familiar. It's
Yeah.
powerful stuff.
It really is. It's like that primal part of us
Yeah.
that just wants to survive.
Right.
So it wants comfort and safety, and it avoids anything that might disrupt that.
And from an evolutionary standpoint, it makes sense.
Totally.
Right? I mean, it probably kept our ancestors from getting eaten by saber-toothed tigers.
I never thought of it that way.
But these days, it often holds us back from reaching our full potential.
Yeah, that's such a good way to put it. So he gives all these really interesting examples of how this plays out in our modern lives,
I'm curious.
like procrastination
Now,
or the need for tons of data before making a decision.
I am so guilty of that one.
Me too. I think
Yeah.
we all are. But the one that really got me was the example about criticizing other people who are taking risks.
Oh, that's a good one.
It just seems like it's so much easier to tear other people down
Totally.
than to face our own fears.
It's like a defense mechanism, right?
Yeah.
By putting down others who are out there pushing boundaries,
Yeah.
we're basically justifying our own inaction.
Right. It's
No.
like saying, well, if they're failing, then I don't have to even try.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And here's the paradox.
Okay.
This pursuit of comfort, this staying in our safe zone, it often leads to greater risk in the long run.
Oh, I see what you mean. So it's
That's
like
the-
playing it safe is actually the riskiest choice of all.
You got it.
Think about someone clinging to a job they hate because it feels secure. But what happens if that industry collapses
Ooh, good point.
or technology disrupts it or something, you know?
Yeah. Or they get laid off anyway, but they've wasted years being miserable.
Exactly. Godin actually tells this great story about Philippe Petit.
Oh, yeah, the tightrope walker.
Yes.
I love that story.
The one who walked between the Twin Towers
Illegally.
on a tightrope.
Yeah, it's incredible.
I mean, what can we even learn from someone like that? Someone who's so clearly embraced discomfort?
Well, I think Petit's story perfectly illustrates how leaning into discomfort can be like a compass.
Oh, that's interesting.
If you're feeling that resistance,
Yeah.
that fear, maybe even anxiety,
Yeah.
it's often a signal that you're on the right track.
Okay.
It means you're pushing yourself to do something that really matters.
Right. So it's not necessarily a bad thing?
Not at all. There's like a signpost saying, hey, this way leads to something extraordinary.
That reminds me of the feeling you get right before a big presentation.
Oh, yeah.
Or like right before launching a new project.
Those nerves.
Yeah, all the self-doubt.
It can be intense,
But it's often a sign that you're onto something worthwhile.
that you're pushing yourself beyond your comfort zone.
Right. It's not just like, oh, I'm nervous about this meeting agenda.
Exactly. It's a deeper kind of discomfort.
It's that growth edge, right?
And here's where things get really interesting,
Hmm.
because Godin throws us a curveball.
Oh, okay. I'm intrigued.
He challenges a lot of conventional thinking about success.
Oh, in what way?
He says it's not about what you can get,
Right.
but what you can give.
Oh, interesting. So this idea of giving gifts in a work context,
Yeah.
it's pretty radical.
It is. We're so conditioned to think, what's in it for me?
Totally.
How can I get ahead?
Right. How do I win?
Exactly.
Right.
So this whole idea of focusing on what you can contribute,
Yeah.
it's a totally different way of thinking about work.
So how would you describe this gift we should be giving?
Well, it's not like literally giving presents to your colleague.
Okay, good, because I was a little confused about that.
Although a thoughtful gesture is never a bad thing.
True.
The gifts Godin is talking about
Yeah.
are things like your unique creativity,
Okay.
your insight,
Okay.
your willingness to go above and beyond,
Yeah.
your ability to connect people and solve problems.
So it's about bringing your best self to work
Yeah.
and contributing in a way that goes beyond just the basic job description,
Exactly. It's about adding value without expecting anything in return.
which can be tough,
Can it?
especially for people who like to keep things even.
I hear you.
Mhm.
But there's a different type of reciprocity at play here.
Okay, what do you mean?
It's not about receiving something tangible.
Okay.
It's a more subtle, more long-term kind of reciprocity.
Hmm.
When you give a genuine gift,
Yeah.
you're putting positive energy out into the world.
Yeah.
You're building connections and trust,
Okay.
which can lead to unexpected benefits down the road.
I see. So it's about playing the long game.
It is.
Yeah.
But keeping score kind of misses the point.
Right.
The real reward is in the act of giving itself.
So Godin actually gives a great example of
Oh,
this
yeah.
with Shepard
Or the
Fairey.
artist.
Yeah. The
Interesting.
one who did that Obama Hope poster.
Oh, yeah.
Remember that?
That was iconic.
It was. He just gave that art away freely.
Really?
And it ended up having this huge impact.
Did it?
Yeah, it became this cultural phenomenon, this powerful symbol of hope and change.
And it probably helped Ferry's career too, right?
Oh, yeah, I'm sure it did. But that wasn't his motivation. He was making a statement
Right.
and offering his support.
So it was a genuine gift.
Exactly. So that just shows how giving gifts can be both personally fulfilling
Yeah.
and strategically smart.
It's not just about altruism.
Right.
Godin also talks about the internet itself as one giant gift system
Oh, interesting.
where people are constantly sharing information and ideas.
It's true. Think about open source software or all those free online courses. There's this incredible network of generosity online,
Yeah.
and we all benefit from it.
And those are just the digital gifts.
Right.
This concept applies to everyday acts of generosity.
Okay.
It can be as simple as noticing where you can offer help at work
Right.
or in your personal life.
Yeah.
Those seemingly small gestures can ripple outward
Yeah.
and make a surprisingly big difference.
Like that story about the hotel worker who went out in the middle of the night
Oh, yeah. What do they do?
to buy gym shorts for a guest.
Wow.
Talk about going above and beyond.
That's amazing.
Something like that could make someone's whole trip.
Absolutely. Small gifts can have a big impact.
Yeah, they really can. But Godin also points out that not everyone's ready to receive a gift.
Oh, that's true.
Some people might be suspicious
Yeah.
or feel like they have to reciprocate right away.
Right. Like it's a transaction
Yeah.
instead of a gift.
And others just aren't in a place to accept a gift.
That makes sense.
So discernment is key here, right?
Absolutely.
It's about being sensitive to what the other person needs.
Reading the room
Yeah.
and respecting boundaries.
So how do you know when maybe offering help isn't welcome?
Well, sometimes the most generous thing you can do
Yeah.
is to respect someone's boundaries
Right.
and not force your generosity on them.
Okay, so there's an art to receiving gifts gracefully as well.
For sure. Just saying thank you
Yeah.
and acknowledging the thought behind it
Yeah.
goes a long way.
Right. It completes the circle.
It does. When you receive with an open heart,
Yeah.
you allow the giver to experience the joy of giving.
Right. It makes me think of those people who get all weird.
I know exactly what you mean.
When you try to give them something.
They get flustered and awkward.
Yeah, and it makes you not want to give them anything anymore.
Totally. It kind of kills the joy, doesn't
It
it?
does. But when someone receives a gift gracefully, it just makes you want to give more.
Yeah. It creates a space for more generosity to flow.
So it becomes this cycle.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Which is such a refreshing concept.
In a world that can feel so transactional.
I agree. So we've talked about giving gifts.
Yeah.
But Godin also talks about the importance of making a map when there isn't one.
Oh, yeah. What's that all about?
It's such a powerful idea. Think of it like a diamond cutter
Uh-huh.
approaching a raw stone.
Yeah.
They don't have a preconceived idea of what it should be.
Okay.
They study it carefully,
Yeah.
assess its potential,
Okay.
and then make precise cuts to reveal its hidden beauty.
So it's about seeing what's actually there,
Yeah.
not what you wish was there.
Exactly. Godin calls this discernment,
Hmm.
and it's a crucial skill for anyone who wants to be a linchpin.
But is that something you're born with?
I don't think so. I think it can be cultivated.
Okay, how?
It starts with becoming aware of your own biases,
Oh, yeah.
those tendencies to see things through a particular lens.
Right. We all have those.
We do. Then it's about actively seeking out different perspectives,
Okay.
challenging your assumptions,
Yeah.
and being open to changing your mind.
Which is not always easy.
It's not, but it's essential for growth.
So Godin talks about trying on other people's worldviews. Yeah.
Can you see things from their side?
Exactly. Even if you don't agree with them.
Right.
Can you understand their goals?
Yeah.
Their motivations? Even their fears?
Oh, that's a good point.
Yeah.
Because that can help you find a solution that benefits everyone.
It can. But it requires empathy.
Yeah.
And the ability to let go of your ego
Yeah.
that need to be right all the time.
Which is hard.
It is. But that's the lizard brain trying to protect us,
Right.
trying to avoid the discomfort of admitting we might be wrong.
So it's a constant battle.
It is. But Godin believes that this attachment to our own worldview
Yeah.
can be a huge roadblock to success.
Because it stops us from seeing opportunities.
Yeah.
Makes us resistant to change.
Mm-hmm.
And keeps us stuck in old patterns.
Exactly. It's like those music industry executives
Oh, yeah.
who refused to adapt when the world was changing around them.
Right. They were so attached to the old way of doing things
Yeah.
that they missed the boat completely.
And they paid the price for their lack of discernment.
So how do we develop this crucial linchpin skill?
That's what I want to know. Are there any exercises we can do?
Godin suggests a few things,
Okay.
starting with practicing detachment.
What does that mean?
It means not getting too emotionally invested in a particular outcome.
Oh, but isn't that hard?
It can be,
Mm-hmm.
but the idea is to acknowledge that you can't control everything.
Right.
Sometimes the best approach is to simply accept what is
Yeah.
and go from there.
It reminds me of that serenity prayer.
Oh, yeah,
Grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change.
exactly.
The courage to change the things I can.
Yes.
And the wisdom to know the difference.
That's it.
I love that prayer.
It's a good one. So Godin's also emphasizing the need to embrace uncertainty
Okay.
and let go of the need to control everything.
But how do you even do that?
It's about being comfortable with not having all the answers
Okay.
and trusting that you'll figure things out as you go.
That's a tough one for people who like to have a plan.
It is, but think about it.
Yeah.
If you're so attached to a specific outcome,
Yeah.
you might miss out on unexpected opportunities.
Oh, right. Because you're so focused on getting to that one destination,
Yeah.
you don't see all the other paths that open up along the way.
That's a great way to put it.
Yeah.
It's like you said,
Yeah.
you get so focused on the destination,
Yeah.
you forget to enjoy the journey.
Right.
And that's where the real learning happens.
So it's not about having a perfect map.
Right.
It's about being confident enough to create your own map as you go.
Exactly.
That takes a lot of trust, doesn't it?
It does. Trust in yourself,
Yeah.
trust in the process,
Yeah.
trust that you can learn from mistakes
Yeah.
and keep moving forward.
That's what makes Linchpins so valuable.
I think so too. They're not afraid to think differently,
Yeah.
challenge the status quo,
Yeah.
create something new.
Hmm.
They're the ones who drive progress.
And we need more of them.
We do. I think this is a good place to pause for a moment.
Yeah, I think so too. Let our listeners absorb all of that.
It's a lot to take in.
It is. We've covered a lot of ground in this first part,
We have
exploring the lizard brain,
the resistance,
the power of gifts,
giving without expecting anything in return.
and the importance of discernment.
But there's still so much more to unpack.
There is?
We haven't even talked about his ideas about making a map when there isn't one.
Right.
Or that fear of success so many people struggle with.
If you're ready to continue exploring these fascinating ideas
And discover how to become indispensable,
in your own work and life,
join us for part 2 of this Dup Dive,
we'll be here.
ready to guide you further along the path.
To becoming a linchpin.
Welcome back to our deep dive into Seth Godin's Linchpin ideas.
It's good to be back.
We've been talking about this whole idea of overcoming resistance,
Right.
that lizard brain,
Yeah.
embracing generosity.
Giving those gifts.
Exactly. Now let's dive into this idea of making a map when there isn't one,
Okay.
which is all about forging your own path even when the way forward is unclear. This is where I start to feel a little lost, to be honest.
I hear you. It can be daunting.
If there's no map, how do I know where to go?
Well, you have to become a bit of a trailblazer.
Oh, wow.
You have to trust your intuition
Okay,
and be willing to experiment.
that makes sense. Godin uses that example of jazz musicians.
Oh, yeah.
They don't have sheet music telling them exactly what to play.
Right. They improvise.
They listen to each other.
They create something new in the moment.
It's a great analogy.
It is. But improvising in music is one thing.
Yeah,
How do you apply that same principle to work?
right. Or life in general.
Exactly. It feels a little riskier when there are deadlines and budgets involved.
Definitely.
Right.
So how do you balance that?
It's about finding that sweet spot between structure and freedom.
Okay.
Godin isn't saying to just throw out all the rules.
Oh, yeah.
He's not advocating for just winging it.
Right.
He emphasizes the importance of having a framework.
A structure.
Yeah, a set of principles to guide your decisions.
Okay, that makes sense.
But within that framework,
Yeah.
there's room for creativity,
Okay.
experimentation, finding new and better ways of doing things.
I like that. So it's like having a compass instead of a map.
That's a great way to put it.
It gives you a general direction,
Right.
but you have the freedom to choose your own path.
We got it.
Yeah.
So how do you know you're on the right track then?
Yeah, that's a good question.
That's where discernment comes in.
Okay, right.
It's about being able to see the world clearly
Okay.
without the baggage of your expectations or attachments,
Right.
recognizing opportunities where others might see only obstacles.
Like that story about Richard Branson
Well,
being stuck in the airport.
after that flight cancellation,
Yeah,
most people would be frustrated.
totally.
But he saw it as a chance to do something different.
And it became Virgin Airlines.
He did. He chartered a plane.
Sold seats to the other passengers.
That's a linchpin in action.
Wow.
They don't just react to situations.
Yeah.
They shape them.
They see the potential.
Where others just see problems.
It makes me think maybe we're too quick to dismiss ideas
Oh, yeah, for sure.
or opportunities
Mm-hmm.
that don't fit neatly into our plan.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We can get so attached to how we think things should be
Right.
that we become blind to other possibilities.
So Godin is saying we need to embrace uncertainty
Yeah.
and allow ourselves to be surprised.
Exactly. But how do you balance that with being strategic?
Yeah, that's a good point. It
Yeah.
feels like you could end up chasing every shiny object.
Right. It's about having a clear set of values and principles.
So those act as a filter.
They do. They help you determine which opportunities are worth pursuing
Okay.
and which ones are distractions.
So it's not just about being open to new ideas. It's about being discerning and making choices that align with your goals.
Exactly.
Okay, that makes sense. What if you're stuck, though?
Stuck.
Yeah, like in a job or an organization that doesn't value this kind of creative thinking.
Oh, yeah. That's a tough one.
What if they just want you to follow the rules and stay in your lane?
Well, Godin acknowledges that not every workplace is conducive to linchpin behavior.
So what do you do?
He suggests that if you're in an environment that's actively stifling your creativity,
Yeah.
your initiative,
Yeah.
you might need to consider finding a new context.
Ooh, but that's a big decision.
It is.
Mm-hmm.
It's not something to take lightly.
Especially if you've been with a company for a while.
Right. Or if you're worried about job security.
Yeah. It almost sounds like he's saying people should quit their jobs.
Well, he's not advocating for reckless career moves,
Okay.
but he does believe it's important to be in an environment that supports your growth
Okay.
and allows you to do your best work.
Right. So staying in a job that drains you and prevents you from using your talents,
Yeah,
it's a recipe for unhappiness.
it can be. So sometimes the bravest thing you can do
Yeah.
is to walk away.
So it's a reminder that we have choices.
We do, even if they're difficult ones.
It's about taking ownership of your career.
You're like,
Godin talks about the importance of building a tribe,
oh, yeah, I love that concept.
a group of people who share your values and support your work.
Your people.
How does that fit into the linchpin idea?
Well, a tribe is essential for linchpins
Okay, why?
because they're often challenging the status quo,
Right.
pushing boundaries.
Yeah.
And that can be lonely.
Yeah, for sure.
So having that support system,
Yeah.
that community,
Yeah.
it's crucial for staying motivated and resilient.
So it's about finding your people,
Yeah.
the ones who get you,
Who believe in what you're doing.
even when it's unconventional.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Your tribe can offer encouragement,
Okay.
feedback, accountability
They can help keep you on track.
when things get tough.
Yeah. Godin also talks about the importance of shipping,
Oh, yeah.
getting your work out there, even if it's not perfect.
Shipping is crucial
Why is that so important for linchpins?
because it's the only way to get real feedback
Okay.
and make a real impact.
Right.
It's easy to get caught up in perfectionism, but that often leads to procrastination
I see.
and prevents us from sharing our gifts.
So it's that fear of judgment,
Yeah.
criticism.
We end up hiding our work away,
Right.
telling ourselves we need to make it better.
Yeah.
But sometimes better is just an excuse for not shipping.
So perfectionism can actually be a form of resistance,
It can be.
a way of staying safe.
Avoiding that vulnerability.
But the world needs our gifts.
It does. Imperfections.
We think
and
progress over perfection.
that's it. Get your work out there
Yeah.
and let it do its work in the world.
It's about creating something
Sharing it.
and then getting feedback.
Iterating
Hmm.
based on that feedback.
So you can grow and evolve.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think this is another good point to pause and reflect.
Yeah, take a breath.
We've covered a lot.
We have making a map when there isn't one,
Cultivating discernment,
building a tribe,
the importance of shipping.
even if it's not perfect.
These are all key elements of the linchpin journey.
They are. But there's one more obstacle Godin talks about.
Oh, really?
That I think we need to address.
What's that?
The fear of success.
That's interesting.
I know, right?
Seems counterintuitive.
It does. So join us for part 3 as we explore this fascinating paradox.
And how to overcome it.
Welcome back to our final segment on becoming a linchpin.
The final stretch.
We've been talking about overcoming resistance,
Embracing generosity.
forging your own path.
All essential stuff.
But Godin really throws us a curveball
Oh, really?
when he talks about the fear of success.
The fear of success.
I know, right?
That seems counterintuitive.
Doesn't it?
You'd think we'd all be striving for it.
Right. Not fearing it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So why would anyone be afraid of success?
That's what I want to know.
Well, think about it. Success often brings new challenges.
Okay.
Increased responsibilities.
True.
Higher expectations.
Right.
It can feel overwhelming.
Yeah.
Even scary.
I can see that.
Sometimes it feels easier to just stay under the radar.
Right.
Avoid the spotlight.
Stick with what's comfortable.
Exactly.
It's like that mix of excitement and terror you get when you're offered a big promotion.
Right.
Or your business really starts to take off.
You have that moment of, can I actually handle this?
Totally. It's like that imposter syndrome kicks in.
Yeah, that self-doubt can be paralyzing.
Godin uses the example of Duncan Hines.
Oh, the food guy.
Yeah. For years, competitors could have easily overtaken him,
Really?
but they didn't.
Why not?
Godin suggests it's because they were afraid of the pressure that comes with maintaining that level of success.
So they stayed small?
They stayed safe. It's almost like some people subconsciously sabotage their own success.
Oh, interesting.
They get close to achieving their goals,
Yeah.
and then they pull back,
Right.
make a self-destructive choice.
Or just stop trying altogether.
Right, they get scared,
It all comes back to that lizard brain.
trying to protect us.
Even if that protection comes at the cost of amazing rewards?
So how do you fight that?
How do you overcome the fear of actually achieving what you set out to do?
That's the big question.
Godin suggests we need to reframe our definition of success.
Okay.
Are we chasing external markers?
Like awards and recognition.
Exactly. Or are we defining success based on our own values and sense of purpose?
That's a good distinction, because chasing external validation can be a never-ending game.
It can. There's always another award to win.
Another rung on the ladder.
But if you define success based on your own personal growth,
Okay.
your contribution to something bigger than yourself,
Yeah.
that's something you have more control over.
So it's about aligning your actions with your values.
Exactly.
And focusing on the journey.
Not just the destination.
Right. Each step forward is a win.
It is. Each
Yeah.
time you push past your comfort zone,
Ship a project.
connect with someone in a meaningful way,
That's success.
that's worth celebrating.
It's about finding joy in the process.
Even when it's challenging,
Or messy.
it's not always going to be easy.
Right. There will be setbacks.
Rejection.
Times when things just don't work out.
That's why resilience is so crucial.
For linchpins.
They understand that failure is part of the process,
Right.
and they don't let it derail them.
Godin talks about the power of making more art.
I love that idea.
When something doesn't work,
Yeah.
don't get discouraged.
Just keep creating.
The only real failure is giving up.
He has that great quote about it.
Oh, yeah.
Trying and failing is better than merely failing,
Okay.
because trying makes you an artist.
That's so good.
It really speaks to that spirit of experimentation,
Pushing boundaries.
even if it means making mistakes.
But that takes self-compassion.
It does.
It's easy to beat ourselves up
When things go wrong,
when we make mistakes.
that inner critic can be brutal,
So Godin is saying we need to be kind to ourselves.
especially when we're feeling vulnerable.
He talks about loyalty and generosity to yourself.
It's about offering yourself the same support and encouragement
Yeah.
that you would offer to a good friend.
So treat yourself like you treat someone you care about.
Exactly. Celebrate your wins.
Yeah.
Acknowledge your efforts
Offer yourself some grace.
when you stumble.
Because beating yourself up.
But it's just another form of resistance.
Another way to stay small and safe.
We've talked about the internal work of becoming a linchpin.
Yeah.
But what about the external challenges?
Right. What about the people and systems that discourage us from standing out?
From taking risks.
Being our authentic selves.
It can feel like an uphill battle,
Especially in a traditional environment.
where conformity is valued over creativity.
So how do you navigate that?
Godin is pretty blunt about it.
Oh, yeah.
He says if you're in a workplace that consistently stifles your linchpin qualities,
Yeah.
you might need to leave.
Ooh.
He's not saying everyone should quit their jobs tomorrow,
Okay.
but he does encourage people to assess,
Their current environment.
does it support your growth?
Or hold you back.
Sometimes leaving a job can be the best thing for your well-being,
Even if it feels scary.
even if it feels risky.
He tells that great story
Oh, what story?
about giving a talk at the FDA.
Oh, wow.
And someone asked him,
Yeah.
how can we be linchpins when we don't have any authority?
Interesting question.
And Godin's response was, how much bigger do you need your badge to be?
That's awesome.
It's so true.
True leadership isn't about titles or
It's
positions.
about influence.
Inspiring others through your actions.
Your ideas.
Your willingness to make a difference.
So lead from where you are.
Regardless of your formal role.
Take initiative.
Solve problems.
You show up as a linchpin.
In whatever you do.
Godin also has that story about Paul.
Paul.
Yeah, he works for Con Edison.
Oh.
Digging ditches, laying pipe.
Isn't that the most glamorous job?
Not exactly. But Paul is a linchpin.
What makes him a linchpin?
He's the one who deals with the frustrated neighbors.
Okay.
Figures out how to access basements.
Smooths over all the rough edges.
He's incredibly valuable to his team.
Because he brings that can-do attitude.
Right.
That willingness to go the extra mile.
He connects with people.
Even in tough situations.
That's a great example of being a linchpin in any context.
It really is. Bring your best self to the table.
Contribute beyond the basic requirements.
Make things better for everyone around you.
And it all comes back to giving those gifts.
Freely, without expecting anything in return.
So it really comes down to making a choice.
To show up as a linchpin.
Decide that you're not going to settle for mediocrity.
To just fit in.
To let your fears control you.
You have to declare, I'm here to make a difference.
I'm here to share my gifts and create something meaningful.
And then back up those words with action.
It's a journey.
Not a destination.
There will be challenges, setbacks, moments of doubt.
But the rewards.
Both personally and professionally.
Are immeasurable.
You've spent some time now with these ideas from Seth Godin.
Exploring resistance, the power of gifts, making your own map.
Even the fear of success.
So what's resonating with you?
What's one small step you can take today to move closer to becoming that linchpin?
What gift can you give?
What bold step will you take on your unique path?
The journey starts now.
Thanks for joining us for this deep dive.